I ignored my destiny once. I cannot do that again. Even for you. I'm the only one who knows that. At least I'm the only one with the will to act on it.
The Mad Titan Podcast with your host, Jay Washington.
What's happening, everybody? I'm back. It's episode 95 of the Mad Titan Podcast. Me, resident supervillain, Mr. Jay Washington. Let me get this out the way right now. I'm going to sound sluggish. I'm going to sound drained. I'm going to sound beat the fuck up because I am all of those. I know I didn't give y'all one last week. If you follow me on socials, as you probably do anyway, you know it's been a non-stop rip and run since last Tuesday and Wednesday between the SLO Comedy Fest out in San Luis Obispo. Man, shouts out to Eric Shantz and the crew, Mark Fry and all of them for having me aboard that. Man, it was amazing. So many great comics, so many great shows, so much great time. To booking an appearance on a TV show, man, that'll come out soon on a network. I'll tell y'all about it more when I'm fully allowed to divulge all the info on that. Man, look, Friday, if you watch Blurs, you know Thursday I found out I had booked the role during Blurs. Friday I had to drive 3 hours back from San Luis Obispo to Los Angeles just to go get COVID tested. I know some of y'all might be like, yo, they wouldn't let you just get the tests out there. Nah, they always got to have their specific places and people they use. So I had to drive 3 hours to go get tested, which took all of 37 fucking seconds. Fill back up the gas tank, you know what I'm saying, to grab me a little bike, get back on the road, and what normally should have took 3 hours took 3.5 to 4 hours driving back. Then I had to do 2 shows. Then Saturday, Sunday, Blurs at the Dark. Monday up at 6, be on set of 7 to film. Comes back to the crib, gym, Tuesday Blurs, everything, and Wednesday shows, Thursday shows, and Blurs, Friday shows, Saturday, which was yesterday. I'm recording this on a Sunday. Saturday, man, Saturday was just as busy as Friday. Friday I had to do a show. Shouts out to Mike Falzone, had me at the Improv for his Surrounded, a crowd work show where all you do is crowd work. And then I had to work at the nightclub. And then yesterday, Saturday, back in the ring for Compton Mania, my match against Sean Black. That was a dope match, bro. Hard hitting, man, for sure. And you don't take shit like that for granted. I mean, I told everybody, and it's been no secret, I say it like this: unless something major happens, the business got about 9 more months of me total. I put 22 years into this shit, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I love being in the ring. I love performing. But goddamn it, my body is like, nigga, but. And also, at the same time, I got so much other stuff that's been, jumping off that I can't afford to get hurt and do it, because it ain't, it's not financially lucrative. Yeah, there's things you do for a hobby and a passion, but when the physicality come behind it, you got to reevaluate some things, just keeping it a buck. I mean, I gave Sean Black a snap suplex on concrete last night, and you would think it hurts him just as much, but actually it hurts me taking it. And then I gave him a release German suplex, whatever, all that. Y'all know my thumb has been bugging me since last show. And yeah, I've been working out still and wrestling and everything, so my thumb hasn't had a chance to fully properly heal. And then my elbow, I feel like I got tennis elbow on my left elbow on the same hand, same arm, shall I say, with my hand. So, but that, and then I had to go do stand-up in Tarzana out in the Valley of Los Angeles, man. Shouts out to Chris Kane having me out for that. Yo, the show was so dope. It was fun, man. I had my energy on point even after being exhausted from wrestling. Then turn around and had to put on the top flight security of the world uniform and go be bounced at the nightclub I work at. So all of that happened on yesterday, and that's all been within the past, again, an 11, 12-day span of shit that's been going. So again, not having episode 95 out last week, I apologize, and I wanted to get it out for sure for y'all today. I didn't want to do this where I was like, yo, I'm going to have it out weekly, and I don't. And, I start missing weeks. Again, I had no choice in the matter last week. I got a little bit of time between doing laundry and sitting here letting pain pills kick in for a nigga. So I was like, yo, I might as well sit in front of the computer and drop an episode of the podcast. And I know y'all like, yo, he is rambling. Also, it's just me. This is, it's one of those things I told y'all, if I had to, I'm going to. It's just me. So this may not be super long. I didn't find a lot to talk about. I'm going to talk. I haven't done a full review for the YouTube channel on the Batman. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one. I know I'm supposed to do a Blurds one with Winston, so I got to figure out when we're going to sit down and do that. But I'll talk about it when I get to the DC portion of the show. So let's just get into it, man. For those who are new to the podcast and don't know what it's about, I get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live-action cinematic universes. This is Barbershop Talk for Nerds. So if you've been in a barbershop, beauty shop, people keep the conversation A100. It's just real talk, street shit, no pulling, no punches. I mean, sometimes people going to feel some ways, and sometimes people not. And guess what? At the end of the day, if you feel some type of way, and I'm talking about comic book shit, yes, I might translate a lot of it to real-life shit. It is what it is. Get out your feelings. All right. I ain't got that much Marvel news, so I'm just going to kick it off with what I got from Marvel. I know it's 2 major casting announcements for Kraven the Hunter. Sony is definitely moving forward on that. We know Aaron Taylor Johnson is playing Kraven, but now it's just dropped that West Side Story's Ariana DeBose, she's playing Calypso in the movie. So, yo. So you got that. You got Russell Crowe as potentially Kraven's father. Fred Hetchinger as Chameleon. This lineup is becoming kind of dope. And then also, they just added Alessandro Nivola as the villain of the film, which is kind of weird because you would think that Kraven would be the villain. Because again, if okay, we don't know, first of all, what universe this is taking place in. So, who is he hunting? He's not hunting the Chameleon, clearly. That's Kraven's whole job. He's a major big game hunter. And so, I don't know. It's not coming so we're not going to get Kraven in theaters until January 13th, 2023, which means more than likely they're starting to film. They've already started filming and they're already in production, and we're just getting casting announcements. But don't forget, we got a Madam Web joint coming. We got a Silk and a Jackpot joint coming. Sony is taking that Spider-Man universe and running with it now. So again, everybody's like, oh, does this mean we're getting more Andrew Garfield? Does this mean we're getting more Tobey Maguire, especially post No Way Home? I'm going to be honest. This is something I was telling a couple people, and I know people, have a different opinion on it. I don't think if Andrew Garfield just happens to win the Oscar over Will Smith, Denzel, and everybody, he might not be up for doing them anymore. Now, I know you can look back and say, you never thought Emma Stone would go back to doing Zombieland, but she did Zombieland double tap, you know what I'm saying, especially after winning the Oscar. And again, we don't know how people's schedules may play out. If people want to do them, they'll do them. But again, going back to my original point, we don't know what universe is set in. So we don't know if Kraven is eventually trying to hunt Venom, if he's trying to hunt Morbius, which drops in April. There's all these different things. You don't know where everything falls in line. And again, it's not a bad thing. I feel like this, and I think I've said it sometimes, we don't need to know everything going into a movie. A trailer, a lot of times people see trailers and feel like the trailers are dropping all the information, all the spoilers, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, I don't think that'd be the case. Trailers have consistently swerved the shit out of people. And we've seen them. I will always reference the, Infinity War trailer, where you had the Hulk, all them running, and then when you get the actual scene, it's not that. So shit changes all the time. But again, and I say that it's just, I let shit play out. I would rather let it play out. I wouldn't be surprised if this Kraven in this Sony universe is not hunting, you know what I'm saying? Is hunting maybe Morbius eventually, ties into him hunting Venom or whatever the case may be. Again, I think all of this, no matter what, Sony Universe and Marvel Cinematic Universe, all that is leading to a giant Civil War, since we said, it's been said that we're not getting another Avengers proper movie for a very long time. I think that's it. We're getting Young Avengers. We're getting West Coast Avengers, of course, but we're not going to get the Avengers proper, so I think we're going to get Secret Wars. But anyway, that is what I feel with that. The posters for Moon Knight have dropped. Posters for Morbius have dropped. The Moon Knight posters have been geeking people up even more about the property coming out with Oscar Isaac. And it's crazy because, again, I love, and I think I've said this either here or Blurts or wherever, I love the fact that we got Marvel and just comic books in general going into characters that aren't super duper mainstream, if you will. A lot of people didn't know who Moon Knight was. Let's just keep it a buck. A lot of people. There's some diehard comic book fans who know about Moon Knight, but the average person doesn't. The average person doesn't know about a lot of these characters that we got coming to the screen now, and I think that's what makes it the best. Because if you are a comic fan, what it does is it allows you to introduce people to new characters, start having the good stories about them. You don't have to play gatekeeper. Let me make sure I clarify that. But you get to have conversations about something you've grown up and passionate about and loved, et cetera, which will tie into something I'm about to get into in a hot second. But, all these characters, man, it is great. And I know I saw somebody post, I think it was on the Bird app, Twitter, a while ago. Man, do you think Marvel's doing too much? Do y'all think Marvel's doing too much with all these shows and movies that people won't be able to follow? And I'm like, nah, I don't think that's the case because we're, at this point now with Moon Knight, with She-Hulk, with Miss Marvel, the Marvels, everybody we've gotten so far in phase 4 and going into phase 5. Remember, we're starting stories over again. Yeah, the most you'll hear now is, Thanos snapped. The blip. I keep calling it the snapping. But what you're hearing is, you're not having that as much. So now you can start over from the beginning of that story. Now, the argument or debate or however you want, discussion, discourse, whatever you want to call it, that people are having around, well, I don't feel phase 4 is where blah, blah, blah. And I keep telling everybody the same thing repeatedly. We are starting over from scratch. You got to reprogram your mind to an extent. And I know for a lot of people hearing that it's rather unsettling, if you will. And some people don't want to agree with me on that, but this is what I mean. Okay, first of all, Iron Man, when Iron Man dropped, Iron Man was a C-tier character. Nobody will tell you otherwise. Wasn't nobody giving a shit about Iron Man? Robert Downey Jr.'s performance made you care about him. Thor was a guy people always, talked about. He'd always been utilized in the mainstream, whether, again, when we had Incredible Hulk movies back in the day with Bill Bixby, Adventures in Babysitting, et cetera, et cetera. Spider-Man speaks for himself. He's one of the most popular characters in the world. Iron Man wasn't. Captain America wasn't. It was those portrayals. And so now those become A-tier characters based off what the films have done. And you still have B and C tier characters in comic book lore that have elevated. The Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad. Again, comic book fans themselves proper may know of them. There are some comic book fans who didn't know. We're going to keep it a buck. Let's just make sure we're doing that. Because I know there's some people like, man, I always knew. Calm down. Okay? But again, it's just, at the end of the day, all of this is fun. All of this is just, it's the kid in us, living a life. All right? It's the kid in us getting to see things we loved on the big screen. As I always said, when I saw Black Panther, of course, it's not a perfect movie. It's a great movie. It was an emotional movie because for me and many others, a character we thought we'd never see. Yeah, it was a possibility, but, it is what it is. All right? So, let's just go ahead and move on over to the DC side of things. I want to make sure we talk about this real quick, and then we're going to get into which a lot of y'all want to hear my thoughts on possibly. If clearly you're here, you want to. Legends Tomorrow, man. So they've ended their 7th season, and in that, Nick Zano, who's played Nate Haywood, Steel, he was been on the show for since season 2 and 94 episodes. He has officially left the show. And now added on is Donald Faison, who was being the one and only Michael John Carter, aka Booster Gold. Now, here is the biggest issue. I want to bring this up with a lot of characters. I am not in the minority of this. I'm in the majority of seeing people saying this, and we're getting tired of hearing this. I'm tired of hearing people whine and complain when they race swap certain characters, they gender swap certain characters. Some motherfucking comic book. It's a fictional fucking character. Unless their race is an essential part of who they are as a character, it does not fucking matter. People out here bitching, well, how would you? Because again, the typical goof-ass white boy response, yep, I said it. Typical goof-ass white boy response is, well, what if they made a White Panther? Hey, you fucking imbecile, you mean the White Wolf? That's what that is. So we're already there. But certain characters, unless their race is indicative as to why they are who they are, then it can't be race swapped. Peacemaker needs to be white because he is a child of a white supremacist. So everything about his values are about him being pure white and things like that. And he learns and he's brainwashed, for lack of better words. And Booster Gold can be whoever the fuck he wants. He's just a superhero that's like, yo, you got to hire me. This is who Booster Gold is. Booster Gold's not, yes, he was drawn white. I get it. People are drawn a certain way. And yes, when we always go back, the number one things people go to, number 1 and 2, Superman and Batman. Superman had to be drawn white originally because somebody who represents a fucking alien, by the way, who represents truth, justice, in the American way, is only meant to be white at the time when he's created. Batman's superpower is white privilege. Don't tell me it's the greatest detective. He's a white dude that can do a lot of the shit that he does. Everybody understands that, okay? He's a white dude who'd rather beat up on mentally ill people than go to therapy because he just can't get over his parents dying. Nigga, my parents are dead and I've moved on. Kanye West can't even get over his parents being dead, and he's got about the same amount of money as Bruce fucking Wayne. Anyway, people were bitching and complaining on get on social media and the Bird app and all these things, and I think I'm gonna have to try to figure out a way to this is a quick side note. I think we all need to try to figure out a way to take some time off from social media. We need to figure out a way to unplug. This shit's getting bad, and it's not even getting bad. It's getting worse. We're entangling our entire lives based upon our social media presence, our worth, many people's worth and values based on social media. And it's like, come on, fam, let's not do this. Let's not do this. But I digress. Again, you just want to. It's comic book characters, y'all. So some people, again, if it's not, the race is not indicative and it's not essential to who that character is. If the race or gender is not essential to who that character is, then it should not matter. It absolutely should not matter if that character is race or gender swapped. If it is not essential to that character. Yes, I am repeating it because it seems to be lost in translation. There isn't any of this, oh, it's all these woke, blah, blah, blah. Nah, nigga, that's real life. Real life is reflective of things. Guess what? There are not just white and black people in America, in various cities in America, let alone the country, the continent, or the world. So why can't fictional characters reflect that? Star Wars and Star Trek is about alien species in varieties of galaxies, and motherfuckers want to complain about how somebody who flies or is able to run fast or leap buildings, how they're drawn and colored or how they're portrayed on screen, get the fuck out of here. It's not that serious. It's just not. All right. I think that's all DC news I got, because of course everything's been reflective around the Batman that came out this week finally. After delays, COVID, delays and things like that, we finally got it. Robert Pattinson takes his turn at putting on the cape and cowl. Year 2, which basically this is a somewhat loose adaptation of the longer Halloween storyline, which was going to give us, again, Matt Reeves and everybody said we're getting a noir detective film, which you did get. So before we go into anything further, before I go any further, let me automatically say my number one overall, my thoughts on the Batman. Again, you follow me on socials, you've seen how I said. It's a decent movie. It's just too damn long for me. For me. Some of y'all have been like, oh, it's perfect length, you got to have things stretched out. That's fine. That's fine. But some people don't want to sit in theaters that long. And for people, again, who are going to go, well, you sat in the theater for Avengers Endgame. Motherfucker, I kind of didn't want to sit in the bitch 3 hours then. There's a lot of people who said they thought it was too long. But guess what? Guess what is one beautiful thing? It is people's opinions. And I want to say this. This weekend alone, I have seen way too many people lose their motherfucking mind because everybody isn't praising the Batman. And there's some of y'all favorites who do DC Comics commentary, and you'll figure out who the fuck I'm talking about. Who are like, oh, how dare you not like this score and none like this, motherfucker, because they don't have to. Some of y'all are ridiculous. And yeah, some people say, well, Jay, how would you feel if somebody said they don't like Black Panther? Okay, fine. You just didn't. Some people I know didn't like Black Lightning. It is what it is. It's a personal fucking preference. But to act as if people are wrong because they don't have the same opinion you do, because they're not sucking the dick of a filmmaker who don't know you fucking exist. Because guess what? Regardless, the studio gets your money and theirs no matter what. Shut the fuck up. This is my frustration with shit like this, with the general discourse in many fandoms, not just comic book, in fandoms. Everybody is not going to like every fucking thing. It just is what it is. Some people didn't like the score. Some people didn't like the Batmobile. Some people didn't like Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne. Some people didn't like his Batman. Some people didn't like the violence. Some people didn't like the length. But guess what? People are allowed to. It is not a masterpiece to everyone, and that is perfectly fucking fine. People are too busy trying to compare shit, saying, oh, well, people who didn't like the Batman, of course they like Marvel movies. This has nothing to do with Marvel versus DC and this stupid ass made up fandom beef. What it is people have their own expectations and perceptions of what they witness or what they were going to witness. And you got to let that shit be. I personally didn't care for Bruce Wayne being that emo. You're telling me that for me, I don't give a fuck about it. Again, this is Jay Washington's opinion. For me, you're telling me in year 2, he's already concerned with being Batman more than Bruce Wayne instead of trying to figure out the duality of both. For me, a lot of people going, oh my God, we finally got a detective Batman. What the fuck do you think you got in 89 Batman? He figured out how the chemicals were making everything happen. You got it in Batman Begins and The Dark Knight when he was doing recreations of bullets and things like that. You got him using detective skills. It just wasn't the way you wanted it. But don't act like it hasn't happened. That's an issue I have. Yes, this is a full-on noir detective film. It absolutely is. But to sit there and say that in many iterations that we've seen of Batman, he has not done anything that even slightly resemble Batman being a detective is just wrong. That's just flat out wrong because it's not true. Now, it hasn't been done to the extent that it's done in the Matt Reeves film. Yes, I will agree. But to say it hasn't been done, that's a lie. It's a lie. Again, everybody doesn't have to like everything. Of course, you got the goof troop, incels, otherwise, bitch boys, however you want to call them. Oh my God, they made Batman woke. The SJWs have taken over Batman. They're the only good black people. They're only good black people. All the white people are bad in this movie. First of all, it's Gotham fucking City. It's Gotham City. Corruption runs rampant. Then to say, oh, Catwoman's good because she's black. Motherfucker, Catwoman's been black since 66 Batman. Okay? Don't act like Eartha Kitt ain't been a thing. Don't act like Halle Berry wasn't a thing. Don't act like Sanaa Lathan voicing Catwoman hasn't been a thing. Naya Rivera voicing Catwoman hasn't been a thing. So stop that dumb shit. Commissioner Gordon's black. Okay, he's a fucking commissioner. And as a matter of fact, when we're talking about the Gotham Police Department, again, it is indicative of the story of Batman that the Gotham Police Department within itself is corrupt at various points. So to act as if everybody in the Gotham Police Department is supposed to be cool, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Oh, who else? The mayor of Gotham is black. That's a thing to you? That's a thing? That's really a thing that you care about? The mayor's black? But oh, you motherfuckers weren't complaining in Batman and Batman Returns when fucking Harvey Dent was black, played by Billy D. Williams. Pick and choose what you want to be mad at. You're picking and choosing, what you want to be mad at when the shit's been done before. So all your little bullshit, again, it goes back to the thing I said with Booster Gold and the race swapping and gender swapping. You want to be mad at bullshit just to try to pick out something, especially you lame-ass niggas who do all this shit to make YouTube videos because you got a bunch of other lame-ass niggas and lame-ass bitches who want to go, you know what? I'm going to type my anger because this is the social justice warriors and this is how Hollywood is trying to make everybody think. No, you stupid fuckers. It's always been done like that. Again, I go back to a statement I made on Collider Live years ago. If Hollywood, as everyone wants to put it, would have allowed the normalcy of what the country and the world looks like to be reflective on screen a while ago, it wouldn't be like, you have diversity's been a thing, right? Like, these countries are always diverse. America, for as much bullshit and as racism as it feels and as segregation, has always prided itself on being a melting pot. We all know this, right? Little basic thing you learn in grammar school. And so the melting pot is this liquid, right? And it's a liquid in a river, and the river is supposed to just flow. But there is a wall that has stopped that river from flowing, right? There was just a wall that was there. The other side of the river moves, but this water gets going against this wall. This wall is saying, oh no, it only has to be white on top, black at the second base, and maybe even the Hispanic Latin community down third, Asians further down the line, et cetera, et cetera. So all that was that water. But guess what? That water kept pushing against this wall, and it finally broke the wall. And then when it broke, it was a flood, a swarm of water. It just overwashed and eventually evened itself out. And by even itself out is how it should have always been. That is where we're at. So all these people going, oh my God, I can't see any more white couples. I can't see any more white families. Guess what? White couples and white families have not been the only thing in this country for God knows how long. Yes, there is a movie about interracial law being allowed. So again, interracial marriages have been allowed. Interracial couples have been a thing for God knows how long. So why shouldn't they be reflective in commercials? Why shouldn't they be reflective in TV shows? Why shouldn't they be reflective in movies? And why shouldn't they be reflective in comic books? Members of the LGBTQ community have always fucking existed. You know, it's really funny. People always want to say it's woke and pandering, but when the same people who quote unquote preach against it all the time, congressmen and women sometimes, who be like, yo, that's a sin against God, and all of a sudden you find out dude been sucking dick at a truck stop, don't nobody say nothing. Don't nobody say nothing. So again, you're picking and choosing what you want to be mad at when you shouldn't even be mad in the beginning. Because again, your anger and all that is bullshit. So all those complaints about, oh, Batman is just too woke and blah, 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 blah. Fuck out of here. Zoe Kravitz makes a line about white privileged assholes. It is Gotham City. Bruce Wayne is even one of those white privileged assholes because that's the role he has to portray to keep up the facade. Yes, we know that that Batman is his true face, his secret, his secret identity is Bruce Wayne. His true face is Batman. If I'm saying that right, you know what the fuck I mean. But people want to make a bitch about that. Like, why? For me, again, time. I felt like there were certain things that could have been chopped down some. I felt like there were certain scenes that probably weren't needed. Again, there are people like, oh my God, you needed all this. Again, that's your feelings, just like these are mine. I didn't care for the quote-unquote Joker reveal at the end. The conversation with the Riddler and the Joker in Arkham. It's unnecessary for me and for many others I've spoken with. But again, we all have our own opinions. That is the beautiful thing about this shit. We all have our own opinions. Oh, well, it's setting up the universe and this, that, and the third. Okay. Motherfuckers kill me. Let me tell you something. We've seen so many things in television and film history that are not comic book based, right? That have set up universes that did not have to be 3 hours long. Let's just be real. Let's just be honest. I know everybody want to be like, blah, 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 blah. Let's not act like it hasn't been done before, is all I'm saying. Universes have been, and granted this is the term now that we're using, universes have been set up and established and didn't need 3 hours. It just is what it is. Doesn't take away from the filmmaker, the screenwriter, etc., etc. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. But for people to act like that fact does not exist, that fact does not have historical context behind it, is the issue. Now, how do I think Robert Pattinson did? As Batman, I thought he was, like I said, I thought he was amazing. Yo, people are like, oh my God, this is overly violent for Batman. Batman is supposed to beat the dog shit out of people. That is what he does. That's just what he does. I mean, I couldn't see anything wrong with it. Batman as a character, he doesn't have super strength. He doesn't have super speed. His suit isn't even really super. It's just bulletproof and allows him to deflect. Like, he can absorb some hits, but he still feels shit. It won't hurt him immediately. He just beats the fuck out of people. That's what Batman does. So for people to think otherwise, I don't know what character you thought this was. Yeah, this ain't 66 Batman where all you see every time he hits somebody is kapow, bang, zoom. No. Get to the comic books. He beats the dog shit out of people. Andy Serkis as Alfred. You know, it is what it is. It wasn't too much and it wasn't too little for me. It was like, all right, he's Alfred. Maybe if we plan on exploring this more, we'll see what this goes. I left it as such. I saw somebody said that Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle didn't need to be called Catwoman. She could have been anybody else. Just a regular no-name burglar, and it just still would work the same. I kind of agree. Don't get me wrong. I think Zoe Kravitz was fucking amazing in this. By the way, if you ain't seen this shit yet, spoiler alert, I'm going to say some shit. John Turturro's Carmine Falcone, I was cool with that. I ain't had no problem with that. I was like, all right, but there was a reveal that I was like, I tweeted about this. I said, yo, was I the only person that kind of was like, breathed a sigh of relief when the reveal was made, and then had to sit back and think for a second, like, but wait a minute, did he smash and not know? Because I don't want to fully spoil it, so I'll hold out. But again, that crazy shit. Jay Lycurgo, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. He's one of the thugs you see earlier in the film on a train stop when we got one of our first introductions to Batman. Here's the thing about Jay. Jay plays Tim Drake on Titans, who's about to be the next Robin. It's like, wow, what a crossover. It's a crossover without being a crossover. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, the Batman and Titans are in the same world. Those are not in the same world. It just was with a person. Again, people have been in Marvel and DC films now, and multiple properties, there's multiple characters, so it is what it is. But back to the film. Colin Farrell as the Penguin. That's a transformation that honestly Now, I'll say this. That in itself is Oscar worthy. You know, hair and makeup and a supporting role. Because again, that's not the same Colin Farrell we've all known, we've seen through a bunch of different films. Like, if somebody didn't tell you that the dude playing Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin, if they didn't tell you that was Colin Farrell, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know it all. Because that's a hellified transformation, both physically and his performance. So I'm great with that. I did have one question. I tweeted this a lot, and people have different responses to it. We just cool with Batman walking through the crib with the police there, and be like, "What's up? How you doing? Hey, mama, you good? All right, cool. I'm going this way." And people are like, "Well, Jim Gordon was with him," and I'm like, if I'm not mistaken, Gordon was with him, so that validates it. And at one point, Copy was even like, "Yo, you gonna have him here?" And it's like he's the thing is for the Batman and blah blah blah. Okay, cool. I get that. But every time I've ever watched any iteration of Batman, for the most part, yeah, the relationship with him and the commissioner is one thing. The police chief is one thing. But overall, he's considered a criminal to the police force because he's a fucking vigilante. So to see him be able to walk around police and just be okay. I mean, yeah, we saw him pop up in the bank in The Dark Knight. I get that. I do. Pardon me, I do. But again, that still is a part to me that's still like, it's kind of weird because he's breaking the law technically. And I understand we're talking about Gotham where it's almost as lawless as a town as it gets. But it was just weird. Like, there's one point where he gets knocked unconscious, Batman is, and this nigga wakes up in the middle of the police station. Police just sitting around him. And when they finally decide, they talking shit for a minute. When they finally decide they want to take his mask off, he wakes up. And then, he starts fighting cops. And then they're just like, hold on, calm down. Just chill. Let him do what he do. And then talk to fucking Riddler. And I was like, so this nigga just assaults police officers. He even, to get away, eventually has to steal off Jim Gordon. And everybody's just cool. It's just those little things for me, didn't add up fully. To you who's listening, it may not be for you. It may not be an issue for you, let me say that. But for me, it was just something. But I digress. Again, like I said, I think it's an overall decent movie. I just think it's too long. I think there is one of my homies said there's some sound mixing issues, and I do agree. There's sometimes, the sound where the ambiance sound drowns out dialogue, but it is what it is. So yeah, I'll probably do a full review with Winston on Blurred's for the Blurred's channel. It's gonna be on the YouTube channel, so that's that. Now, let me go to the emails that I got at the Mad Titan Podcast email. You can email me, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com. Or if you want, you can call the hotline, 818-276-6957. 818-276-6957. I'm waiting on this email to open up so I can go ahead and, all right, here it goes. So the subject is Marvel TV is a necessity. And this is from the homie Fred Castillo, who's a member of the Supervillain Squad on Patreon, who supports. I appreciate you. Fred says, hello, Mr. J. Happy to be getting your podcast and I have questions about the future of the universe. I'm loving the Marvel content appearing on Disney Plus. It's become apparent, that a person needs to watch these just to keep up with the overall story. For instance, a person would be confused as fuck when White Vision suddenly appears on screen or Torres shows up in Sam Wilson's Falcon gear. My question is, do you think the MCU will turn away too many future viewers by weaving the streaming and theater platforms? Also, with Moon Knight around the corner, is there a potential character who could possibly tie into the Black Knight or Blade maybe? Thanks for reading and looking forward to future Mad Titan shows. Fred Castillo. Again, Fred, thank you very much. I kind of addressed this earlier. This is all a new phase. So just as much as people did before Infinity War and Endgame, people did a full rewatch of the MCU. It's the same thing. Now you don't have to watch it again. You don't have to go back to Iron Man and Thor and Captain America 1. You don't have to do all that. Again, you just watch Falcon and Winter Soldier. You just watch WandaVision. Again, you can watch these little things and pull it together. It's a great watch, a great binge thing now. I don't think it's too far. No, I don't think it is. It's not too much. It's not like you got to go, well, shit, when does Sam Wilson come in? You ain't got to go all the way back to the Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier. You ain't got to go back to that. Or White Vision. You ain't got to go back to Avengers Age of Ultron to get Vision. I think I think the average person will, like, okay, let me catch up a little bit. And they'll spend some time watching it. Many people have done it. And these are people who aren't even the regular comic book fans. These are casual fans, if you will. They've decided to rewatch these. So I don't think it's a problem. And with Moon Knight, I think Moon Knight is the character that ties to the Black Knight and Blade. Or I know we're getting a Werewolf by Night Halloween thing. So I think Jack Russell could play a part in that. I know a lot of people have been speculating and looking for the possible Ghost Rider future, so we can just totally get the Midnight Suns. So I don't know for sure, but I think Moon Knight, Blade, and Black Knight will tie into each other on their own. I think Moon Knight will play itself out. I think however many episodes the series is going to be, it's going to play itself out. If anything comes of a tie-in to Black Knight or Blade, I think that will be in the last episode. I think we could see more Black Knight in the Blade film. And then I guess we just go from there. Hopefully, this answers your question. I appreciate you. And that is all I have there. So again, if you want to email me, please email madtitanpodcast@gmail.com, madtitanpodcast@gmail.com, 818-276-6947, 818-276-6947 is the email. And that is all I've got for this week, man. Thank you for rocking with your boy for episode 95. I told y'all I was going to get it out to y'all, even though it was just me, and I'm here for y'all. All right. As the drill goes, follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington. Any stand-up shows, wrestling appearances, anything I got going on, I'll always posted via my social media. I have to re-update my website, jwashington.com. Probably going to have to go on Fiverr, get somebody to do it and be able to keep track of it. And then just got to put reminders to always update the website and shit like that. But I got to redo it. I got my website. I got my domain address and everything, and just got to do it. But if you want to email me, if you want to try to contact me, you can contact me through my website, jwashington.com. Blurs in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Myself and Winston A. Marshall are full episodes. We are officially going straight to Twitch. So I did a full video on what is happening on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/blurredsinthehood. Our clips of the show will live on YouTube. The live show in itself will live on Twitch. Twitch has become more productive, lucrative, and is not a hindrance to our growth as much as YouTube has been, to be quite honest. YouTube has become rather stagnant, unfortunately, and we're always fighting to get episodes up and clips and shit like that, and so Twitch has made it so much easier. So please join us on Twitch Tuesday and Thursdays. And again, the clips from the shows go out the next day of the respective episodes. All right. And if you want to support the Mad Titan podcast, become a producer of the show, please join the Supervillain Squad. Patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. Patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. You can just join the basic $5 level to show some support. And for those who join at the $25 or more, you join my one-on-one with the Supervillain tier. What that does is we sit down for about 45 minutes, whatever it is, and we talk about whatever it is they want to talk about. All the conversations are available in the Patreon. You also join my Supervillain Discord, and we have a conversation about a bunch of different things, life, sports, TV, movies, real shit happening. And again, it's a great community that I've built, and I'm glad that everybody's a part of it, and I appreciate it. And with that, please let me say thank you to all of my producers and members of the squad. Alberto Rios, thank you for being at the 101 tier. Brock Severson, Chauncey Woodson, bro, thank you at the 101. Cheryl Corman, Chris Lee, thank you for being at the 101 tier. Christopher Connolly, Dan Bimke, David Adams, Davlin, Fanboy Cantina, Fillmore Pockets, Fred Castillo, the aforementioned, Hillary Nellums, James Robbins, Jim Payne, thank you for being at the 101 tier. Jim, be ready to do yours. I know you've been super busy with work, my friend. The link that I send you, that I've sent for the 101 tier, once I reset the dates, you can schedule it from there and we'll go from there. Jolene, thank you for being at the 101 tier. Justin Square, Kenneth Daisy, Kirsty Oliveria, Marcus Burton, Marlon, AZ Baptist, I appreciate you. Patrick Harden, Quentin Milrow, Randy Constance, I saw you have to drop down, bro. I understand you got some things you're trying to party for your birthday. Get ratchet. Rudy Bueda, thank you for being at the 101 tier. And Soul Govan, thank you so much again to everyone who supports. I appreciate you all a millionfold. Without you, a lot of this is not possible. And so I am grateful for you all. Again, I will be back next week. I think I'm going to have a guest on with me. I don't know. Either way it goes, you're getting episode 96. We're on the way to 100, which we should have been at, but life, right? Life. I'll holler at y'all next week. Take care. I'm out. Bye.